Right, morning guys, so welcome back again. Pretty sure I'm halfway through the video here, so. So, when we left off yesterday, I was mucking around with these. I took the last few home and sat at the table and carved them out with a knife, and I took a piece of a small hunk of plywood home with me so I could have something to cut on instead of cutting on the table at home. So I got them rough cut, and now they're just going to do the final little clean up and shaping, like these ones just take all those funny edges off and stuff. So I've got that to do first, and then I might, the front piece of that seat, that trim piece at the bottom, I might go, now that I put that rust converter primer stuff on it, I want to clean the outside of it back off again, and just so I can put etch on it, so I know that the paint is going to stick to it, because I've had issues with that stuff before putting primer over. Like if you sanded it, I think it would be fine, but I'm just going to take it off the outside edge side of it. When I go to prime and whatever and flick the inside of it, I'll just give it a quick scuff with some probably 240 or 80 or something like that, just rough it up and then flick the primer on. But the outside, I want to make sure that it's definitely going to stick. So I'll run over it with that Scotch-Brite wheel again, and then hit it with some etch. Then after that, I'm trying to decide where I'm heading next. As much as I'd love to have some pieces here to start putting some of these bits together, I've got a part that I need to get to a next spot. I haven't got wheels back yet, so I can't do wheel bearings and brakes. You know, I'd love to get the diff back, or the gearbox back together and lots of stuff, but I haven't got those parts. So I'm thinking maybe, because I'm kind of finished with the seat and floor stuff, I think, at the moment. So I might, you know, I've got that firewall piece done. I can't really do much more with those things until, well, maybe I'll start fitting things. But I've still got the dash stuff to clean up, the trim for the top of the cowl, which is that bit that goes over top of the dash, and these pieces to prep and get ready for paint. But I've also got to drill the holes in the bodies, in the tops of the doors, the curtain stuff, to be made when I get the bows back on. Because what I'll do is I'll get the bows finished. Also, we'll buff the body first. But when I've got the bows finished, probably actually need to buff the body soon. At least get the body buffed, with not panic so much about the other stuff, but get the body buffed, so when we start assembling, I'm not having to worry about going back to it. But when I get the bows on, then I can make these side curtain pieces. So I think I need to probably start cleaning up maybe the dash stuff and work out where I'm going to drill the holes in the doors. I've got a reference on that other front door, and I think the holes are kind of visible. They were in here, I think I filled them. But yeah, I've got a reference on that other front door for where there's two pins basically going, and there's a wire frame that goes up, that's basically built into the curtains, if you know what I mean. So yeah, I need to make them the doors and whatever, and there'll probably be one from the back to attach to the these pieces that are a little filler piece, I guess, or it might be part of the top. I'm not 100% sure. I need to go back and have another look at photos, but I need to start getting into that stuff. I'd actually like to have this frame a bit fucking lower, so it's really easy to work on. It's not too bad, but it's highish. Yeah, I need to start working out all those last little bits and pieces. Get that done. Yeah, and I need to, obviously we need to get some paint sorted, and I need to work out the technique for doing that wood graining. I've still got paint in here for a sample, and I think I've got another piece somewhere for a sample, but I don't think it's quite as good as this. But I've got it for the colours too. I don't think I'll leave this in here, this colour in here, whether it's get painted over or not when we do it. But that's the original, obviously the original paint for the undercoat, for the undercolour, I guess, not undercoat, but the undercolour, and then the other colours put on top, and it's wood grained effect. I haven't never done that before either, so that will be something else to learn. So yeah, but I'll start with that seat base, get that cleaned up, get that etched, and do those, finish those. I'll probably put them on or set, and yeah, then we might start playing with that stuff, or maybe start looking at those bows, one or the other anyway. I need to start attacking that stuff. That's sort of next on the list. And probably next week I might start getting the body ready to buff up, I think. Start with that anyway. You know what, we'll catch later on. I might freaking turn the heater on and close the doors, I think. It's getting freaking cold. It's chilly today. It is chilly today. Righty, so I decided I'm going to put these in. I can get them in without taking these off, so it's cool. It's nice to not have to take them off. I don't have to disturb any of the paint and the screws or anything like that. So what I'm doing is put a little bit of dishwash on the ends. So at least then it just helps, gives it something to help slip in there, you know, and that'll eventually, you know, dry off and disappear and won't be much of an issue. That's pretty cool. Slipping there pretty easy. The odd one I've had to I've put 2 doors in so far, and this is the 3rd one. It's been the odd one. It's been a little bit tight, and I've had to wrestle with it a little bit, but hasn't been too bad. I've got a little fine screwdriver there. I can poke in the hole a little bit if I need to. This one a little bit, you know, just to help encourage it around the corner. And they will settle in there too, you know, once the door's been opened and closed a few times and hold a bit of pressure on them, they'll soon work their way in properly. But it's just nice and not have to take this off and disturb anything. They probably will possibly have to take this off to do, you know, they might not have to take this off to do the upholstery, because there will be a little, what do you want to call it? There's a windlace sort of stuff to go around here. It'll come up this edge. So there's that. So they possibly won't have to, because that'll set up against sort of roll. Yeah. It'll come up and then like roll round and just push up against the inside of the door a little bit. I think there is windlace on them. I have to double check in that photos, but I think there is. So you'll put the last couple in, and that'll be actually probably one of the, I guess, apart from the suspension and the doors one, that's like sort of the first little bits on, really, after painting. The first official little pieces. So it's a little bit, but I might have to. A couple of them I just have to take down a little bit on that outside piece. It might be meant to be a bit more flatter on this outer edge. Stick up a little bit. Alright, knocking back a little bit more of the thing. This is hard, that's why I thought I'd leave them a little bit higher, but maybe just because I left them fairly proud on the back, I might just push them out a bit much. But it's not hard, so I can buzz it off. Just pull them out and buzz them off a bit. That's all good. It's all part of the fitment process, especially when they're handmade. It's not that I bought them off the shelf and, yeah, these will fit. But apart from that, I'm going to, once I get them sorted, I'm going to strip this down and get it prepped for paint, or initial stages, because I think I need to get, apart from little bits and pieces, brackets and stuff that probably aren't super crucial that they're painted with the 2-pack, I need to get like this and those top door trims all finalised so I can paint them with those seat trim bottoms. I need to have a good look at and work out. I've got the windscreen frame, the hood bows, paint, black, windscreen paint black. Those seat fronts will be black. Those won't be black, but I can prime them at the same time. Just trying to work out what else. Oh, the rear, the spear wheel carrier. Yeah, I need to go through and just have a little bit more look and just see what else needs painted and what I can get away with. Rattle can, like gloss black or whatever, or where it really needs to be painted in something a bit more robust, if you know what I mean. The odd little bracket and linkage or something like that's not going to hurt if it's just playing with a bit of rattle can. But things that need to be hardy and all that sort of thing, need to be painted properly. Not that rattle can's not properly, but it's a little bracket underneath the car or something like that. It's not, if you had to, 10 years down the track, if you want to climb on there and just give it a wee spritz up with a bit of rattle can's not going to hurt, because it's not something you've seen, but you don't want to be doing that with, well, you can, but you know what I mean. But you don't want to be doing that with a dash piece or other bits and pieces, if that's nice and hard, a nice hardware and paint, it should last a lot longer, whereas something that's going to get a bit of gravel rash or something like that, if you give it a wee spritz up with a rattle can, for all the miles it's been doing, but, if it does happen to do some heavy work, well, it's not hard to get underneath there and just give it a wee touch up. Something that's not going to be seen a lot, unless you're on your back underneath it. So yeah. Unless you get a whole heap of that sort of stuff and I can hit it all at once, but we are running out of stuff to do. Still got the radiator to sort out. But I can only paint the sides of the tanks. I can't paint the core because it is the grill. Yeah. Right. I'll knock those little rubbers down, and then the ones that are high, and Might tap some of these other little pieces, get them prepped for paint. Righty, so to get a true height on these when they're obviously squashing against the body with this piece bolted down, I just put a couple of coach bolts through there to push it through at the correct height. Now I can buzz it down and I can see how high they are. For the ones that really matter, the ones that clear okay, I'm not going to worry about it, if you know what I mean. Because the likelihood of them coming off again and being put in the wrong place is slim. They shouldn't. I don't think they need to take any of that stuff off. If they do, well, we'll deal with that then. But at least now I can see there. Yeah, it is way too high from what it needed to be. So I'll just buzz it down a bit. It'll probably take about maybe half that height off, just with the die grinder with the roll locks on it. Right, so I think that's a bit more reasonable now. Hopefully that'll be alright. Like compared with that one that's really old and crusty, which fits that way. It's probably not far off that sort of height, if you know what I mean. That is old and hard and whatever. No, I want to leave a little bit extra height on it from what it was when it was new, because it's bound to get pushed down, squashed down, worn down, whatever. So I'll take that one out and I'll throw one of the other ones in. That was a bit high. And then that's the ones for this side, and then I'll do the ones for the other door for the front. It's mainly the front ones that are giving any problems. Back ones don't seem to interfere. So we'll just do the fronts. The other ones look alright. No big drummers. All the part of building an old car with parts that you don't have. So you got to make them. Take it out. I did buzz this one down a little bit, but we'll just throw it in there again and we'll just have another wee look when it's clamped against that board. This way, some this way. Mainly just want to squash it down so I see how proud it is sitting. Bit hard to tell when it's you're just holding your thumb against the back of it. Just a quick and easy way to replicate what's going on. Give it a quick buzz. And job's done. But that's all those little jobs that add up into one big one. So you might just take that in a little bit more. It's not far away. Done. Right, we'll throw them back in the door and see if that door closes. without a fight. Shouldn't have to fight it closed. That's the big thing. No fighty. You're good. So yeah. But simple little thing, mate, just a little bit of time. Just find something that's close to what you need, you know, and just make them. You know, obviously some that are really weird shapes, that would be a bit awkward, but yeah, as long as you get a fairly good sample, you know, it's not hard. And a piece that you can, you know, if you've got something that you can test fit them into a few times as you're making them, it's pretty easy to do. Oh, a poke. Partly mineral. Bring you back over here. Yeah. Little bit of lubrication again. VV. They look the part anyway. That's the main thing. That's the main thing. This is the main thing. Just close the door. Right, just trying to get those two bump stops in view of the camera. Just turn the camera around on the wide lens. It's just catching on there. That's right. A wee bit of use, I'll come wrong, but doors don't fucking run. Awesome. Awesome. Maybe take a little bit more off, but I think by the time the doors are open, closed a few times. Just takes a little bit more to close it now. Those, I could take them down a little bit further if they are a problem. I might just leave them like that. We'll do the other side. We'll do the other side. Bottom one definitely, not both of them. Right. We'll do the same with them and we'll come back to you. Right. Oh yeah, also, in the last video, I was talking about whether I was going to be doing any more cars or not, apart from maybe the Mate 65 Impala. Now, I've had a phone call, obviously after I was editing, after I was videoing those bits and pieces, but I put a small note on the last video to say, because he rang me the other night, the guy with the 24 Dodge, and wants me to, they're going to pull out a shed, not this weekend coming, but the next one, I think, from what I understand. Man, what's that at holding? I might be a piece there. I don't know. Anyway, they are supposedly getting it out of its tomb next weekend. Hoping. So I'm gonna have a look at it because if it's not a horrendously difficult, if it is just happens to be cosmetic and not a, when I mean cosmetic, like paint and upholstery, and I don't have to dive deeply into mechanicals and, you know, repairing a lot of old parts, because I know it is supposedly a low mileage vehicle. I may start it and then possibly go to the States for whatever long, because I know the guy was wanting it back by around now, or just before now, next year, like in 12 months time sort of thing. So if I could get the bulk of the bodywork done, if it does happen to be just cosmetic and I'm not having to go through all the mechanicals as well, all I got to do is pull it apart, pull the bodywork apart, strip it down, paint it, and then, you know, and then it goes to an upholsterer or something like that, depending on what he really wants to do. I may take that on. I'll do part of it now and then part of it later on to finish it. You know, if I come back for a few months while we do get finalised, do try and get some other stuff finalised. It's finally released. So yeah, that's a maybe. Oh, it's got nails in it, that's why. That's what's being a pain in the ass. It's got little nails in there in places. So yeah, that's why it was holding. Little tiny nails I didn't realise were there. So well, you reuse that piece, no point remaking that, I don't think. But I'll clean up inside. So this has been painted black. What if the dash was black? What if the dash was black? But yeah, anyway, so I may redo that, do that car. We'll see what happens. I don't really know. I want to have a look at it first, have a decent assessment, and see what he really wants to do, how much he wants to spend. Because now everything's got so much dearer. Yeah, the price of everything's gone up hugely. So like my cost's more, my cost of living is more, so it's got to be worth my while to do. And I might better do it, finish this, and maybe work on that 65 Impala to a go, and then when we come back after we've done bits and pieces we want to do in the States, and hopefully we'll work out exactly what needs to be done to try and get some permanent residency there. Because the basic plan is for me to go, when I go to the States, to be with Heidi and Arco at Minnesota Outlaw Kustoms, which is Outlaw Region YouTube. I'm not going there to work, I'm going there to be a partner, or a business partner, I guess you'd call it. So to actually be part of the company, not just a worker. We'll discuss that when I go over there, I guess. For a holiday, that's partly why I want to sort of go there. And it's, we're kind of at the point of a few of these things roll together at once with some of the things that we've got working on, plus me doing this car, plus Rachel going over to see her family. That leaves me free to go over there by myself without a huge expense to us, because it's just me going over. So it'll be a little bit more easy financially, and then work out what we're doing from there, and hopefully work on getting there permanently. And if I can become part of the business per se, that should make it easier to become a citizen in the States. So you will work on that. But yeah, because a few people said, oh, you need to be qualified and all this and that and whatever else to get a job in the States. Well, it's not a job. I'm becoming part of the business. It's a different slice of the fish, if you know what I mean. I'm going to be the boss, not the worker, or be a co-boss, I guess you would call it, or whatever. So yeah, I'm not going there just to work for them. I'm going there to be part of the company and be an asset, be another side of the asset, if you know what I mean. Between my skills and Arco's skills, what I lack, I can build up, and vice versa, if you know what I mean. So yeah, we can feed off each other and do hopefully a better job and have more people to do things and be able to build this whole thing together. That's the plan. So yeah, and then see where it leads several years in the future, you know. But yeah, it'd be nice to be able to do that, and hopefully the business going in there as a business partner, more than a worker, will be the way in there. That's what we're hoping. So anyway, we'll get this cleaned up. But that's slice of the pie, I guess you want to call it. So I'm going to do a quick little bit of research. To me, it looks like it was black. To me, so that's easy. Yeah, it might be just the trim around it that was wood grained. So yeah, that's easy enough to do. It's easy enough to do. We can do that. It's got all those telltale signs that this was black, but it's not to say it was originally black. Yeah, right, so it's got all those telltale signs, like that's black and behind there. It's black and behind where that screw was. It's black and behind where that screw was. It's black and behind where that choke cable thingy was. Like that's black. And obviously the inside of it's black. So I'm guessing you're painting it black. So that's cool. Yeah. So we'll give it a clean up, I guess. But I'll do a couple little bits of research and just see, double check that they were all black, or the majority of them were black, and we'll just paint it black and we'll just do the wood grain trimmies. So that's a lot less for me to, I thought I was going to have to wood grain that too, but that trim will be easy, I think. I'm hoping to do that soon. I think that'll be one of the new paint things. You know, once we get some of these pieces primed, then we can put, you get some Rust-Oleum paint that's similar to whatever that piece is on the inside, and wood stain over top. Which is, yeah, I didn't know that's how they did it, but that's apparent. Yeah, right, so I've had a bit of a look. So the one in Queenstown appears to be wood grain dash on that piece. I've got a photo of another open top tour that's a right-hand drive, but was in the US. That was in a bit of like a restoration project that somebody must have imported. It looks like it's wood grain dash 2. It looks brown, not black. But Dave, the one that we've taken a lot of measurements off and bits and pieces, his is painted black. Not to say that he didn't paint it black. But it looks like a lot of them were the original ones anyway, the 2 originals. That one in Queenstown's never been touched. And it looks like that one that was in America doesn't look like it's had a lot of work done to it either, because it's a real basket case, I guess what you call it. You wouldn't call it a basket case, but it's definitely a full resto. But yeah, it's all wood grain too. Now I've got I know there's some photos of another one that online, a fairly original one. I'm going to see if I can hunt them down, have a quick look, see if there's a shot of the dash in there. I think there is. It's one that was for sale that was in Australia. Was a greeny blacky one. It actually looked a bit like the colour that was when I first started working on it, but that was just etched primer. But this one was that colour, kind of that colour, if you know what I mean, like a greeny sort of, I don't know what you want to call it. Yeah, sort of like that light sort of greeny blue, sort of washed out sort of colour. There's one in Australia, a bit like that sold at some point. Yeah, and it looks really original. So I'm going to have a quick look at the photos of that and see if I can see what colour the dash is. Whether it was black. That's obviously been black, but I don't know. Like, I don't mind doing the wood effect on it. If there were a lot of them wood effect, I think it would look quite nice. But it's 1.5 dozen the other. Black would be easy. But whether we look, see what that one is too. You know, it might have been an option sort of type thing. Probably that wood trim was probably always black, but yeah, the option of the wood grain dash or just the black painted dash probably. So yeah, we'll have a look. Yeah, it's definitely wood grain too. So I think we'll just do a wood grain. I think that'll be nicer. Black might have been a lower level trim, I guess, and wood grain was obviously might have been an extra option, if you know what I mean. If you wanted the wood grain, you got the wood grain. If you wanted the black, you got the black. So I'll see what he wants to do. We can either do it all wood grain, we can do it black and just do the wood grain trim. Up to him. But I think the wood grain would be nice. But anyway, I'll still to prep it, clean it up and whatever, so we'll do that. Right, the reason why I try to get as much as I could with the other Scotch-Brite and that, and the wire wheels first, is because I want to try and make that one last as long as possible. I knew that was going to clean it up better, but I just want to try and get the worst of the crap off it I could with the other ones first. I don't know, I don't think this will fit in the sandblaster. I wouldn't mind getting into these corners, but it's probably not. I can get in there even with my hand and just give it a scuff. And then rust treat the back of it with that same paint as I put on that seat trim. And then if it will fit in that sandblaster, but I don't think it will, I wouldn't mind just giving it a light go over so I can try and get in here. So, the only thing I can really get in there is with the wire wheel. I might have another go and just see if I can get this to clean up a bit more, but even if I can give it a light sandblast on this surface, because I don't know if I'll get into that because it's sort of in the corners and it's a string, I don't think I'll get it sprayed in there. But this way would be easier if it'll fit in there. I'll quick poke and see if it'll fit in there. Cabinet, even if I just give it a light blast just to get that last sort of clean up on it, and then we can treat it, rust treat it. But I think that'll come up pretty good if we can get the last that shit sort of off it, and then we'll, you know, we can etch it, rust treat it, or etch it, or whatever, and then yeah, a few layers of high build, and then we can start the painting preparation in, whether we go wood grain or just black. And then I've got that little ring to do too. Well, I might be able to do that. So that might be nice and easy to do in that cabinet. Or get out in that cabinet. It's not strong enough to do damage to that. So yeah, I'll go see if this will fit in there. Righty, so that kind of, it was barely fitted in the sandblasting cabinet, and I've given it a light go over it, and managed to clean the worst of the crap out of here anyway. Knocked it down and cleaned it up, I guess, a little bit. I can't get in those corners because it is, when you put it in there, it's like you got to try and sneak one end down underneath the door, and it's like really tight. But it also gave me the opportunity to give that a clean up. So I think I might give this a light go over with a fine grit Rolox and just try and clean up a bit more of this shit, especially on this surface. I'm not so panicked about this surface, if you know what I mean. Doesn't matter quite so much. We might give it a quick run over, but most of this here I'll just treat with that rust treatment. But this here I might just etch the side of it, so if I can get this as clean as possible, I'll just etch the side of it and just put that rust treatment stuff on the side. And this here I'll probably just spray with the rust treatment because it has got little bits of on there still. I was trying to be careful with that because I don't want such a light little piece, I don't want to destroy it. I could probably make that, but that's such a fine little piece there. It's fairly solid, but it would be easy to screw up, and then all of a sudden you're hating yourself. So you might just run over this with a fine Rolox. I think I've got some 120s there or something like that. Run over it, give it a really good clean up, and just quickly whip over the back side of it and get this prepped. Yeah, that's about all there is to that. I'm going to have to get somebody to fix this thing because it's pot metal, I think. Unfortunately, it's not. I don't know. I think it might be pot metal, or it's aluminium or aluminum. Unfortunately, it's broken because it's been such a poor casting. and it's just sheer age now, which is a bit of a shame because it's the piece that holds this to the dash. So yeah, it's only like the nut sort of type sort of thing, but it's what holds it there. So it holds the steering column up. So we may have to get, if we can't get it welded up, we might have to get one made, which won't be the easiest. Like if you had a 3D scanner and a CNC mill, you know, a $200,000 machine where you could probably freaking make it a piece of poo. But I don't have one then. So yeah, unless there happens to be, I'll have a wee look. There is that other dash up there, but I just don't know. It's probably going to be in the same sort of boat. We'll have a look and wait. There is that other dashboard up there. I might get it off there. It might be already gone though. I don't know. I'll have to have a look. Can't remember it. But we'll give this a clean up and get it prepped. What a fire here. Fucking heavy. That's fucking handy. It's very handy. Well, I think the switch has failed on the wherever the brown wire is phase. You can see it's all disappeared, like with the screw and everything's all mounted in there, whereas on the side it's not like that. When you push the switch down, the contact's permanently stuck there. So I think that's what's happened, it's gooed itself. But I noticed this here is very oily. Like the last time I had it out, it wasn't like that. So we've got a bad lung by the looks of it too somewhere. I pulled, because this was quite covered because it was obviously blowing shit up there. It's quite oily on there. So I had a quick look in there, and they all got a little bit of dark overspray colour in there and stuff like that, but they're not terribly bad. But one of the lungs looks like it might have given up. It's blowing that much oil. Like, it's not low, it doesn't appear to be low at all. It might be down a little bit, you know what I mean, but it's still on the mark. Probably possibly could do with a change, but it's still, it's got a 3-year warranty, this thing. So under any conditions. So yeah, might have to go back to where it come from. I'll give it a blow down. Oh, I can't give it a blow down, but I'll give it a wipe down and clean. And yeah. So something's happened there, but because it's under warranty, I don't know. It's probably worth just taking it back, especially when it's breathing like that. It didn't used to. It was always quite clean around there, but I had it out from underneath the bench here a wee while ago. Just gave it a good check over and whatever. I do that reasonably regularly. Like every couple of months I pull it out and just make sure everything's alright. But yeah, it's definitely been breathing heavy there with all that greasy dirt and paste. But you look, like the filters are like they're a little bit dirty, but they're not. You know, like you can still see because they've got little paper filters in there. You can still see, you know, the white, and you know they're not really choked up or anything super crazy. They probably could do with a clean, but yeah. So that switch has been the main cause. It's failed, but with the why it's failed, I don't really know. But I did notice here before it took a long time to pump up. When I was using it one of the last times there, it was like, because normally it shuts off pretty quick. But yeah, that would be why it was breathing a bit heavy and it took a long time, extra time to pump up. So yeah. That's not very handy at all. Oh, I suppose I better let the owner know, and we can get it sorted, and hopefully we can at least get another one. We can get another one, but yeah. So the tool shed compressor with the 3-year warranty failed, but it has had a lot of use, like working on that car. Started a lot of priming and painting and a reasonable amount of sanding and stuff like that. I haven't used a truckload for sanding because I've done a lot of it by hand, but in between I've done quite a bit with DA too, I suppose. But that's what we told them we were doing with it. So, and it's what they suggest, you know, for in this sort of environment. Like if you had 10 guys in here, you wouldn't be using that. But for just me being in here, it's probably a little light. I would like. Yeah, like a step bigger would be probably a bit better. But yeah, it's a hard thing to know sometimes. Like it's a little triple, so you know, and it's got a reasonable sized tank on it. But yeah, it looks like it's dying, and it's got quite good car. Like it's not some of the cheaper ones have got alloy cylinders and stuff. It's all cast, so. Not to say that's great quality, but it is cast, so it should be alright, but yeah, oh, it didn't quite live up to its 3-year warranty, I guess. Well, that is very handy. So, like I said, the switch looks like it's melted, and it's breathing heavy. The guys who got it off, it's because it's got a 3-year warranty, so bring it in. If they can get it going, it's be fine, but if it needs the pump replaced or anything like that, it's gotta, they don't get parts and put them back on themselves. That goes to the North Island, so it might take a month to get back here, which is not ideal. So yeah. Like I'll probably check it every month or two, like give it a good look over, apart from draining it, like I drain it fairly regularly if I'm painting and using it a heap every day. But if I'm not using it a lot, you know, I'll drain it every day or two, you know, to depending on how much water builds up in it. But yeah, it's a pain. Like if they can get it, if they can put another switch on it and it's running, it might be alright, but it's still not much good with that sickling. You know, it's going to be blowing oil everywhere, and next thing it's pumping all through the E-lines, and it's, yeah, that's not looking good to me. So yeah, we'll see what happens. I sent the owner a message. I think he's back. I'm not sure on that. He'll let me know, and then yeah, he'll have to run it to town, or somebody will have to run it to town. But it is Friday. It's like 4:15. So yeah, I could run it in there now, but I don't really want to do that. I could. Like between now and Monday, it's not going to make much difference unless they're not going to get it down today, guarantee it. But if somebody can run it in there in the morning, I'm going to have a look at it. But yeah, it's a bit of a pain. That is a bit of a pain. Oh, at mate Steve's place, and with the yellow Charger. And he's been building some model trains in here. Not quite sure, I haven't talked to him. I thought Jake said he had some model trains in here. I was like, oh, I'll come and have a wee look. I didn't quite expect this. It's pretty cool. Having a wee play, I guess.